welcome to the Today-ish Show. My name is James Lee, and I am with...
Santa Claus. Ho, 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 everybody. Dani Love here.
Oh, I cut too soon.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I moved the camera away. Okay, here it is. Oh, no. What's happening? What's happening? Did we just get another reset? Hold on. Does that happen every time I switch cameras?
No. Wait, look at
we have some very interesting technical stuff happening here.
I will just say that what we just experienced is indicative of the show for today. It's going to be all over the place. Oh my God!
Oh my God!
No!
What's happening? Wait, what is that?
You guys, if this show wasn't already going to be crazy enough.
Yeah.
Now you might be getting our theme song every 20 seconds.
Hopefully not.
Are we good now?
I think so. I think we're good, right?
You guys.
I think we're good. We're live. Are we live? We're still live.
We're
Welcome
live.
To the show. Welcome to the show.
It's been a minute, 12 seconds, and it's been off the rails.
Thank you to the Patreon members for being here, supporting the show.
Yes.
Multiple theme songs to start the day. We have, it is kind of indicative of the show that I think we're about to do today, because we're talking about the scientist who Dani says is getting whacked.
And you would like to say that you think...
Well, I think they might be getting whacked a little bit.
Yes.
But maybe by different groups of people. I have my own theories. You have your theories.
Let me guess. You think Israel's taking them out?
Anyways, we'll be digging into that. We will be, talking a little bit about Trump maybe sort of tangentially involved in this. He's been sending out some weird tweets.
Look.
A barrage of very interesting, off the rails kind of, what is he talking about? I don't know. What do we have? We also have some AI stuff that might tie into Revelations, right? This is all... You're saying it's all one story. I'm saying I don't know yet.
I really do think it's all connected, okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to be actually going down the rabbit hole. I will probably be found 7 matchas deep with whiteboards in my office at home with, the string attached. But all I have to say is that it does feel a little bit like we're in end times. You've got Trump reciting Bible verses that might be related to the third temple and Revelations. And then you have this AI, alien, hologram. We don't know what's going on. So we're going to start with the scientists today.
Because we didn't get to the scientists last week. We were supposed to talk about the scientists last week.
Yeah, when there was 10.
And now there are apparently 12.
12.
I believe 12. So let's start with the mainstream coverage. There's a piece on Fox that just gives a little bit of an overview, I think. And this is, I think, when it was still 10.
I haven't seen this.
It's just a quick hitter. And we'll see what they say.
Investigation into 10 scientists who've gone missing or died, some under mysterious circumstances, has prompted the White House to order the FBI to investigate. Fox 11's Phil Schuman back again with the local connections some of these scientists have to SoCal.
Yeah, this is a very unusual story. A number of government agencies are looking into this. One phrase used was its, quote, raised eyebrows. Now the White House says they'll leave no stone unturned in this investigation. As you mentioned, Christine, 10 scientists involved with government agencies or military research died or have been reported missing since 2023. 3 worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in La Cañada, Flint Ridge near Pasadena. Michael Dowd Hicks was a researcher. He died in July 2023. Frank Maywald, a principal researcher, died in July 2024. Monica Jacinto Reza was an aerospace engineer at JPL. She vanished last June while hiking with a companion in the Angeles National Forest. Carl Grillmar was a Caltech astrophysicist, shot and killed outside his home. The questions now, were these coincidences or is it something more sinister?
These are some of the most advanced scientists, researchers in our nation, some of the most important people for a nation's national security efforts, and they all just mysteriously disappeared.
Tough questions in Washington, D.C. after at least 10 American scientists and former military officials were found dead or have suddenly vanished in the past few weeks. In some cases, the deaths remain unexplained. Others appear to be random disappearances. Some lawmakers say it has all the hallmarks of a foreign operation against the U.S.
This is too coincidental, and so we have to be investigating this. We need to have our nation's top investigators, the FBI, and every agency looking into this matter.
A bipartisan letter now being drafted urging the FBI to look into the deaths and disappearances. On Thursday, President Trump said he's been briefed and investigators are now trying to determine if any of the cases are linked.
Pretty serious stuff, but we're going to be hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it.
So far, there have been no verifiable threats against the American scientific community.
I think it's still quite safe to do science in the United States, and in particular programs that might be beneficial to national security. And in fact, science is more exciting than ever now that we had a successful Artemis 2 mission.
As for President Trump, he says he's expecting to have more information in the next week and a half.
All right.
So far,
So
no
that's the part
confirmed
where-
links, really, between any of these cases, aside from what can be described in general.
So that's the part where I think mainstream media always, the story is interesting. It's like, okay, we're uncovering the scientists, and then at the end they always throw in this thing with like, yeah, this is probably nothing. Like, it's all good. Come to the U.S., do more science. FBI's on it. We'll have more information for you. We went to the moon.
Doesn't everybody just feel so confident that women's medium jacket is the one taking the apparently an intoxicated women's medium jacket is the one taking this case?
Right. And you said he was being sued for that, or he's suing the Atlantic because they said he was like a drunkard?
Apparently, Kash Patel is suing the Atlantic because they did this article where they had insiders quoted saying that he's come to the office multiple times intoxicated and he's unsafe. And then when he's asked, like, I mean, we're veering off here, but I think I have the clip. Then when he's asked, like, if this is true, oh, maybe I don't. Oh, here it is. I think he's like, he doesn't even answer the question. Yeah, watch this.
I do want to give you an opportunity to respond directly to the allegations in the Atlantic article.
All you have to say is,
that
no,
your
I wasn't
unexplained
drunk.
absences created
I'm not a
a
drunk.
national security risk. And beyond that, can you say definitively that you have not been intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia. And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job. This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half as many days off as those before me. What that means is I've taken a third less vacation than those before me. What that means is that this FBI, with this Department of Justice, has dropped the murder rate 20 points. What that means is this FBI, with this Department of Justice, has captured 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, twice as many as the Biden administration did in its entire 4 years. What that means is this FBI has seized enough fentanyl off the streets to kill 100.
Look, I'll say this, though. He's pretty good at memorizing fake stats. I wouldn't be able to rattle that off the top of my head. Just all that, just we did this, we did that. Murder points dropping 20%. We're catching gangbangers. We're doing this, we're doing that. I have a third less vacation, half as many days off as the other. I mean, I wouldn't be able to remember any of that.
Bottom line is nobody's saying that a drunk can't be successful. He's going into work intoxicated. He's putting the Baileys in the coffee. Or maybe Alexis Wilkins is. I don't know if you want to name your shirt. Allegedly.
Yeah.
But either way, Kash Patel's on the case for the scientists. And it is now the most dangerous job in the world to be studying UFOs and jet propulsion. I mean, that's what it seems,
So,
right?
okay, so you've done somewhat of a dive, not fully yet, from my understanding, but
No.
what were these scientists working on, right? The clip that we just saw, there was like a number of people working at JPL, I believe. Oh, if you pull
no, they're
up
working for NASA in the JPL laboratory, which is jet propulsion. That's the technology that causes UFOs, right, to hover. That's what jet propulsion technology is.
Yeah, but that's not what the Jet Propulsion Laboratory exclusively does, right? They do more than just hovercraft stuff.
I don't know. You should look it up.
I
know that's what jet propulsion, I believe that's what jet propulsion is. So you had all of these scientists that were in this field.
Okay, so here's what they do. They It's a federally funded research and development center managed by Caltech, which is where
Carl Grillmeyer
worked before his untimely death, and they specialize in robotic space exploration, earth science, and deep space technology. They build and operate robotic spacecraft such as Mars rovers, Voyager probes, and manages deep space network to communicate with interplanetary missions. I feel like that last part is kind of critical, right?
I feel like it's all critical. Oh, the Mars, the moon. They know Artemis was fake. They got to off them before they do the, I don't know if I can walk straight on this line. You know? Like,
well, this is after. Well, the thing is, like, she walked perfectly fine.
She walked perfect when her earpiece went out.
Yeah, did you see that clip with the earpiece?
Of course.
Even I was, because me, I'm not like, I think they went, but I'm then now
Went
seeing
where?
To the moon. Like, yeah, you should be able to circle the moon. Like that should be pretty easy. They didn't land on it or anything. And what I'm saying is, it does look like she was like being fed like lines in the earpiece.
Well, she literally is up there giving a speech, and she keeps going like this, and then she stops talking, and then she goes, "Uh-oh," and then she waits, and then she starts again.
Yeah. Do you think that this is like them messing with us because they know there are conspiracy theorists out there who don't believe the moon landing?
No, I don't.
And then they're just throwing these out there just to like give people more fodder?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
So anyways.
All right. So wait, can you pull up? Okay, so pull up the summary real quick. This is. So I was gonna share this with people last week, and then here, zoom in a little bit because this shows where they were working at. Here we go. So April 26th, we have a lot of mysterious deaths. Okay, so we have, retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCaslin disappeared February 27, 2026 from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was the former commander of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and associated with UFO research programs. Do you know this guy at all? Have you looked into him?
A little bit. I've looked into all of them a little bit.
Monica Jacinto.
Except for Carl Grillmeyer and... Well, go on. I'll tell you the three.
JPL. She's a part of JPL, and then she apparently vanished hiking, but with a companion. Wouldn't that be... That's kind of odd, right? If there was a companion there, how did she get lost?
They're whacking them.
Michael David Hicks, didn't you just talk about him recently? I guess he died in 2023, so that was a while ago. Nuno Laureano, he was the MIT professor that was shot, and this is the whole thing. Do you remember that like Brown University shooting? He apparently was killed by the same guy. It was very bizarre.
Do you know what that's called?
What?
A hitman.
But why did he go? So he went to Brown University, shot a few students there. Nobody knew where he was, and then he went to kill this dude, and then some homeless man apparently found him.
Homeless man.
That's what we were told.
I mean, I don't know.
That's what we were told. And then we have Carl Grillmeyer. You've looked into him a sense of. This one seems to be the most suspicious because he was killed around his home, and they had
his
people.
Home in the middle of nowhere in Antelope Valley, not far from where we live. And literally there's nothing around, and it was a hit.
Well, they did say there was like a suspicious person that was like they had reported to the police, and they had a restraining order on this guy, and then he came back.
What I've learned is a lot of these scientists and researchers have been threatened, and they have written text messages. They have told their friends. They have told their family, I'm fearful of my life. And obviously the fear has increased when there's 5, 7, 9, 11, now 12 that have been killed. And a lot of them have written down, I am not suicidal. Even though, just like a lot of the people that were Clinton, allegedly, also had said, I'm not suicidal. And that's what it's ruled in their death, in the autopsy.
Yeah. A lot of JPL scientists, Los Alamos National Laboratory, Novartis biologists. Body found in lake, Stephen Garcia contrast. So some of these are very recent. Some of these date back a couple of years, and people probably weren't paying attention because now we have like 10 or 12 of them. They're piling up, and it's interesting. So how do you interpret like the Trump administration's response? They're like, yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're putting Kash Patel on it. They're addressing it publicly.
Look, I don't think that they are doing anything. In fact, I think that they are I think they're the ones taking out these scientists.
Yeah.
I think the government.
You think they're taking it out? By the way, that's not going to show up because that's not how
It works.
it works.
No.
You got to put them into the internet, and then, anyways, I don't want to get into all of that. But okay, so you think the Trump administration
Let me just read this then.
is whacking them?
Well, on February 19th,
Mm-hmm.
2026, before a lot of these scientists have gone missing or were murdered, Trump tweeted out, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America.
And what is your takeaway from that particular message right there?
My
so he's
takeaway
saying that
is
he's going to begin to reveal all the information. He's going to release the files.
It's
right?
Jeffrey Epstein 2.0. We're releasing all the files, except there's 3 million we haven't seen, and they're going to release some information that they have, and they got to whack everybody that's going to contradict or come out and say, hey, sorry, I am an academic. I've been studying this for 20 years. We actually have different information. One by one, they're plucking them out, and they're gone. And actually, David Wilcock, he's the most recent one that was committed suicide on Monday, April 20th. And by the way, I did the story last night. Mainstream media still had not confirmed this. They said, we cannot confirm this, but it was everywhere. The police report. He had said this, talking about the government and the deep state.
The DS is very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we've inherited that often become religions. And we find out that these are not mythological texts. These are actual, documented, factual, historical accounts. The Bible has ET contact. The Quran has ET contact. Buddhist scriptures have multiple examples of ET contact. So does the Hebrew scriptures. I mean, it's everywhere. So we're going to have a big awakening. And as I've said before, I have been used by these higher beings telepathically to convey a message, which is the earth changes that we were afraid were going to happen, pole shift, solar flash, tsunami, all that stuff, that's not going to be happening. We're actually going to be spared these disasters because we've learned the lessons that Jesus meant to teach us, to be loving towards other people. Enough of us have learned these lessons of love. Joy Berman just donated. Thank you very much. We've learned these lessons of love so that we don't have to go through this catastrophe.
So that's interesting. So I had not heard of this guy before you did your story because I'm not in this space. So he apparently is like a writer and YouTuber. I don't know if he's like a Caltech scientist or anything like that. He seems like he's like a researcher. He's a researcher,
But he also was on a couple boards. Let me see if this kind of gives you a more information. He was a field investigator, researcher, lecturer, filmmaker, and New York Times bestselling author. He also served as the director of advanced technology and board member at an aerospace company, where he promoted next-gen military fighters, exotic propulsion, and advanced aerospace concepts. So he is on the outside of the typical individual that is, he doesn't have he's not a scientist working for NASA, but he is rubbing shoulders with a lot of these people. He's doing a lot of lectures with these people. He's more on the private side of the UFO stuff. Same with Amy Eskridge. She's another one that committed suicide, even though text messages were released just 2 days ago from her business partner where she said, I am not going to commit suicide. I'm not going to commit suicide. I'm not going to take drugs. I'm not like, she goes through like a slew of ways that she's not going to die because she was so fearful of her life. She also did not work for a government agency like NASA. She also was on the private side talking about jet propulsion, but she did have the science background.
Interesting. So this guy, you said this guy committed suicide, right? David Wilcox?
Well, that's the current report.
The report says he committed suicide, quote unquote, but we don't know for sure. But he was talking about, didn't you say that he recently said that he is not suicidal or something like that?
He tweeted that he wasn't suicidal, and this was one day. This clip was one day before he committed suicide.
The clip that we just watched?
No, this one.
Oh, this one.
That I'm about to play.
Okay, let's see.
Here with me today. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. Every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that.
Sorry.
Because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary. But you guys knew that I might still show up, even though it was last minute, and I've had a really rough week. Like, that's kind of like every week. But somehow we keep on making it through all of this. Somehow we keep on grinding our way through this thing and keeping on track and having it work out.
Like, what does he mean by he's having a rough week? What was he alluding to there?
It's a great question.
Right? Is he getting threats? Is something happening in his personal life? Is it external? Is he, having bouts of whatever, stomach flu? I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, he had said apparently many times that his life had been threatened. And now, text messages. This is very new, right?
Today, right?
Well, mainstream media confirmed it today.
Yeah, I just saw the Hollywood Reporter or something.
But it's interesting because he's like adding little cues in his last live. This was, of course, the day before it was pronounced dead. I don't want to say that he committed suicide because I don't believe that.
Right.
I think he was murdered.
Well, we would have to look at. I mean, I'm sure do you know anything more about the circumstances of who found the body?
They said that they showed up at his house. The official report. I think maybe I do have it summarized.
Yeah, let's get the official report on here.
They said a man in a mental health crisis outside a residence and holding a weapon used it on himself within minutes of contact, and then he was pronounced dead.
Okay, so basically they're saying he shot himself.
Yes, they're saying he shot himself.
Okay.
The
sheriff, the Boulder County Sheriff.
Right.
So I think it would be, I would be curious to see if there's body cam footage.
100%. Because the other clip that I was going to play, the little signs that I think he was doing, this was also from his last live. By the way, his last live was, the thumbnail was a picture of Trump in his Jesus robe.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
Oh, no.
And it was, has Trump lost his mind? Is he the Antichrist?
Hence the title of our episode.
So I'm not suicidal. But there's these little cues. I think this is really weird. This is from his last live.
Okay, here we go.
And I am so grateful, and we'll do the typical lead out here. And A-N-D, not E-N-D. And scene. There we go. And I am so grateful, and we'll...
It's the same thing. But why would you...
Well, so he's dropping cues, or he's dropping
Easter
clues of E-N-D, A-N-D.
A-N-D, not E-N-D.
A-N-D, not E-N-D.
That's important.
I'm having a rough week. We're going to get through this. We're going to keep going. I don't know, because like I said, I'm not I don't want to... I mean, I know a lot of people think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but nothing compared to, I think, you. But then I watch these clips. I'm like, there's something going on here.
So the reason he's such a big deal.
Yeah, why is he? Yeah.
He was on many TV shows. And also, he was calling out the cabal, the Illuminati, and the Rothschilds.
Wait, so enlighten me a little bit. How does the alien UFO research tie into the Rothschilds and the Illuminati?
I'm going to let David explain that to you.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm going to have to play a different clip. I believe this one.
Dani's got a lot of clips today.
Like,
she's got so many clips.
So many. So many.
So he's going to tie together
I think so.
aliens
Maybe.
and Illuminati. Okay,
Either way, cabal.
I'm excited.
Cabal.
The cabal. All right, let's see.
One of the things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules are a body of spiritual principles that they must follow in order to be allowed to exist. Now, what do I mean by allowed to exist? I mean that they are aware that there are benevolent forces that will prevent them from achieving their goals unless we give them permission to enslave us. Ultimately, the universe is intelligent, alive, and conscious, and it is benevolent. It is a benevolent consciousness. That consciousness does not allow the negative to succeed unless it is invited. So the cabal has made a science, a very elaborate science, out of studying these arcane, occult, magical principles that allow them to get away with what they do. So they have to put out everything that tells you who they are in music videos, in these Super Bowl halftime shows, the Grammy Awards ceremonies. They're out there showing you the truth. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic, and they are very, very good at it.
So, okay, I have heard a lot of that stuff, right? They're signaling, but that doesn't. He didn't really talk about aliens in that clip.
True. I think he's...
So, I mean, he's studying a lot of... He's researching things. He's researching all kinds of different topics, so there might be some overlap. I'm just trying to see if there's... Because we're talking about, like, nuclear scientists, JPL, cutting-edge technology. The other issue here is, like, the cabal.
Well, all of his books were written on aliens and jet propulsion, and, you know, I think that first clip that I played kind of explained more how the government is tied in with the alien stuff, that the deep state, right, does not want you to know the truth about aliens and extraterrestrials. Now, what is the truth? That's the question. Are they good? Are they bad? Are there good and bad aliens? Are some here to help us? Are some of our government officials aliens? No, seriously. I mean, right? Like,
are we talking about Men in Black here, huh?
I mean,
we're talking about, like, them being a part of the system. Like, in Men in Black, I don't know if you've seen that movie, right?
Here comes Men in Black. That's all I really know.
Is that a part of this? I don't remember that song. But, you know, basically, the point I was trying to make is everybody is in, like, there's aliens within society that you just don't know. They're disguised.
Yes, and I haven't done enough research to find out exactly what, but what I do know is that he was calling out the cabal, the Illuminati, and the Rothschilds, so there could be multiple reasons they wanted him gone. This is one on the Rothschilds. Should we watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm learning.
So am I.
Order, an Illuminati, if you will, which is primarily run by the Rothschild family. The Rothschilds financed Stalin and the takeover of Russia, the Bolshevik Revolution, 1917. They have financed the French Revolution. They financed World War II. They financed Hitler, and they were financing the U.S. So they believe in order out of chaos. You fund both sides of a war, and whichever side wins, you got their vote, because you're their paymaster. You've given them their money. You control their financial supply, which means you can control the government. Okay? And you profit no matter what. Right. And also what happens is that the war stimulates the economy, so you get much more infrastructure and much more buildings coming out of it. That's why, for example, Ford Motor Company was building tank plants in Germany, which is why Hitler's Wehrmacht had the tanks. It was from Ford. When American bombers bombed Ford's tank plants in Germany, Ford personally repaid Hitler so he could rebuild the tank plants faster. Boeing actually was shipping this has been documented, was shipping passenger airliners to South America, which were then sent to Africa, where they ripped the seats out and turned them into Hitler's bomber fleet. That was Boeing. These are American corporations. The whole idea of these big wars is a joke.
I mean, that makes sense, right? That's what we've been talking about for a long time. You know, the dark and mysterious forces funding everything, getting people to fight with one another. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I feel like if you feel like he makes sense on that,
yeah,
then I believe he makes sense on the other stuff.
I don't know what other stuff you're talking about. The aliens, or are you talking about
just
like
that?
Well, what has he said about it? I mean, like they exist, or like what is he like? What I'm trying to figure out now is like it seems like I'm with you on the. I think there's like a pattern. Like I don't think these are all like coincidental deaths.
Yeah.
That's not where I'm at. But the question is like who is offering them and why? Like what threat are they posing? Right? This guy is just a YouTuber. He's a researcher. He's giving information to people. Why do they need to kill this guy?
Because they threaten the government narrative. I read that tweet from Trump.
Okay.
So if these people have information that's going to contradict whatever is going to come out in these UFO files, that's a problem for the government.
You gotta get and okay. So then we were talking a little bit offline about this, but Bob Lazar, he's out there. Joe Rogan, right? He's one of the foremost experts on this stuff, but he seems to have kind of free reign. Is he a part of, you know, is he just giving some information, like a limited hangout, and that's why he's allowed to be there to do what he does? Is this guy saying too much?
I feel like, well, we're going to see what happens. There are people out there that believe that Bob Lazar was compromised at some point in time. And people bring up that Bob Lazar in court had submitted a W-2 form from the Department of Naval Intelligence in the 1990s for a sentencing hearing after pleading guilty to felony pandering. And so...
What does that mean? Felony pandering.
I don't know what felony pandering means.
Right.
But you hear Alan Dershowitz talk about if Jeffrey Epstein was really working for the CIA, he should have known because he would have just brought to the courts information, you know, that he was working for the CIA.
Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that, in that he's not like he doesn't have a W-2 with the CIA. He's working in coordination or as an asset of sorts, helping them out, or maybe the CIA is kind of under his control, or the Mossad, or whatever he was working with, whoever he was involved with, the Russians. He was involved with a lot of people, but he's not acting in he's not an agent in the strictest sense of like, yes, I am on the government payroll, but I am doing things to aid in certain overall missions that will forward whatever interests at that particular point. I mean, there was a lot of different things going on.
And Alan Dershowitz is a very smart lawyer, right? And so
the
point that I'm trying to make, he's a very successful lawyer. He's one of the top lawyers. The point I'm trying to make is that Alan Dershowitz is probably being very smart in what he's saying there, right? Where if Jeffrey Epstein was contracted by the United States, he would be able to provide some sort of documentation to the courts that we would say, oh, you know what I mean? You are immune from this prosecution because you're one of ours. You're an asset. Whereas Bob Lazar did present this information to the court. And so the point is that people believe that Bob Lazar is working for the state because he did present this when he was charged with felony pandering to the judge that showed that I work for the Naval Intelligence for the United States Department. And so I find it very interesting that Bob Lazar, the most prominent guy, worked at Area 51. He's coming out with all these movies. He's allowed on Joe Rogan, possibly also a plant, right? And he's able to talk about these propulsion systems and all of this stuff unharmed.
So I see what you're saying. He is a limited hangout actor in that he's going to give some information to the public to satisfy the urges, but he's also acting on their behalf, maybe protecting some of the most important secrets that maybe this other guy, David Wilcox, is exposing.
David Wilcox or Amy Eskridge or Carl Grillmeyer.
Well, Carl, yeah, I don't know that much, but Carl Grillmeyer seems to have been like in the labs. You know, he's not like out there talking about things.
And what's very interesting about Carl, what's very interesting about Carl Grillmeyer is that he studied at Caltech where he worked, where these NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratories are, in the same year that Bob Lazar supposedly went to Caltech. So, you know, these aren't huge classes of people studying this field of work. You have to wonder if the two knew each other.
Well, they probably, I mean, all these people probably know of each other. It's
yes,
like
but they went to school as, you know, young adults.
Yeah. Well, okay, so does seem to be some here. Okay, so I'm going to present to you like...
They're saying we're getting buffered and pausing for a few seconds in the comments.
That's not... Has that ever happened before? I mean a couple of times.
We've flickered down.
A couple of times it has happened. One time we were talking about like Charlie Kirk and how there was like potentially some kind of foreign thing involved. Tucker Carlson's clip.
Yeah.
You know, with the jets, with the Egyptian jets, and then our stream was shut down momentarily.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what's going on. Okay, so then let's take a second here. Let's talk a little bit about a more normie idea or a normie theory that has been also thrown around, because you're saying that it's deep, and then other people are saying that this is more like an espionage thing of foreign governments trying to either steal secrets from American scientists for their technological interests versus like aliens and things like that. So like these people, like for example, Israel taking some...
Oh, so I was right when I guessed that today.
Well, you know, that's a bias. It's a bias. Anyways, well, actually, there's a clip. Okay, so play this clip real quick that I found. Whistleblower E3. This is obviously unverified information from some unknown person, but this is a clip that I found on Twitter the other day.
I really shouldn't be doing this. I mean that.
Here, full screen that.
Decades inside the system. You learn fast. You don't talk. Not to family, not to friends, and sure as hell not like this. But the Republic is on the line. I knew William McCaslin. He was a mentor to me. That man didn't just walk out of his house one morning with nothing, no phone, no wallet, and vanish. That's not who he was. That's not how any of us wired for this work operate. These weren't ordinary scientists or retired generals. They were deep inside programs developing exotic next-generation weapons technology, the kind that doesn't just improve what we have, it completely rewrites the battlefield. Breakthroughs in propulsion, energy systems, and aerospace that blur the line into nuclear-adjacent capability. Stuff so advanced it feels almost alien. Systems that could give America an overwhelming, decisive military edge for decades to come. The real crown. They want you to believe the disappearances are random. Stress, coincidence, same story for the others, same exit, same profile. Some of them started asking quiet questions about data flows, about who was really seeing what, about certain partners whose interests ran a little too deep. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Israel has never been shy about going after U.S. technology in exactly these areas. It's been happening for decades. They play by a different calculus. Their survival comes first. They want the best tech for themselves. And this next generation military technology, they are desperate to make sure they have it. And this time, they don't want America to have access to it at all. The ones who started raising those concerns internally, the ones trying to tighten the circle, protect America's interests, and slow the bleed, they're the ones who disappeared. Just gone, on foot. Same pattern every time. You don't snap like that after a career under constant monitoring, psych evals, and iron discipline. These men were locked in, predictable, loyal to keeping America's edge where it belongs. When a cluster of them all vanish under identical circumstances, that's not burnout. That's a system protecting the flow. Mm-hmm. I don't have every piece, but I've sat in those rooms long enough to recognize controlled silence when I see it.
Okay, so that is allegedly some U.S. scientist, whistleblower person. I can't really verify whether that's true or not, but he seems to be pointing more towards like this is a national security story versus this is like a deep cabal of whatever, you know, aliens and stuff like that. He's saying that they're getting off because other governments like Israel want to steal our secrets.
Well,
because they
guess what? The mainstream media is saying Iran might be responsible. Have you seen this?
No, because it doesn't exist, apparently.
What?
Okay, yeah. Danny just tried to pull up a link, and it's not there. It's gone. Page does not exist.
Oh my God! This happened. How often does this happen to me?
Well, so who?
Anyways, it was
like
like Fox, and they were saying like there are rumors that these 12 scientists, Iran might be taking them out for information on uranium and for their.
Look, Iran has their own scientists that are getting taken out by Israel. That's been documented. Everything they blame Trump's assassination in Butler on Iran.
I know. I'm making the point that that is the most normie, right?
The most normie is saying it's a national. So like
it's saying that it's a national security threat and it's Iran.
Okay, and then the step above that would be Israel.
And then you have me up there.
And then aliens.
Around.
So what is your theory? Like if you were to succinctly put, like, so my theory, let's say, would be, hey, I think these scientists are getting taken out because other countries want to steal our secrets. These guys are really important. They're just, cut them off.
What is my theory? I would say my theory is that the government and the Illuminati or the cabal, whatever you want to call it, have all of the information on what extraterrestrials are. And then when it comes to energy systems as well, a lot of these scientists, I believe that there are multiple ways to generate free energy, like Tesla was doing, which would free the slaves, us, right, from having to pay for gasoline, charge our cars, and be under the thumb of the elites. And so I think that they want to keep that secret, along with many others that I can't even fathom at this point, out of the hands of the average Joe. Because if this information were to spread that there's free energy or there's good aliens or bad aliens or whatever it may be, that we didn't go to the moon, that we, who knows what, that would really throw a wrench in whatever narrative they're trying to control and push and whatever agenda they're trying to accomplish.
But why wouldn't the government want control of this? Like if there was this free energy thing that could create basically unlimited energy, why wouldn't they want to harness that for like global domination? Why would they want to keep this out of, I guess, the public consumption? Like why wouldn't you want the government, or why wouldn't the government want to harness this energy to basically like be invincible against all other nations?
Well, once the technology is out there, someone else is going to figure out how to do it in another country. We've seen this time and time again, whether it's computers, whether it's, if you believe going to the moon, right? Space travel, satellites, whatever it is. So as soon as you allow one portion of the population to have free energy, it's just a matter of time before that trickle effect, and now everybody has free energy, which would be very, very bad for the controllers of the world.
Well, I think they would have a way to keep this free energy from getting into the masses. Like it's going to only be available to the ultra elite group.
And how do we know it's not?
How do we know what's not?
How do we know free energy, for example, is not already accessible from the ultra elite?
Well, because I assume they would have used it for these like AI projects, and now they're having problems with these data centers and things. I would have thought they would have harnessed these for their side projects of like Sam Altman wanting to connect with aliens or whatever it might be.
Well, apparently Sam Altman is connecting with aliens.
Well, he's trying to as a side quest.
He's apparently built portals around the globe to summon aliens.
Okay, so you're saying that some of these guys already have access to this free energy, and they're just trying to stop it from getting out there to the public.
I just use free energy as an example. I don't know what technology and information is out there, and I don't think that they want us to know, which is why these scientists are getting whacked. That's the point. I'm not claiming to know what these scientists know, but obviously it's something they don't want out there. Free energy, I just use it as an example because you see these other scientists that go to the county fair and they create a hydrogen car and they're whacked.
Yeah. Well, I see. Okay, so I see that. And for me, I always tie that back to like an economic motive, because car companies don't want to give up market share to these hydrogen powered cars, and their whole thing would be destroyed. Nobody would ever buy from those companies ever again.
We talked about Roger Diesel a couple weeks ago, the guy that invented the diesel engine, which ran solely on peanut oil, and he disappeared on a ship in 1913.
As the law, yeah, was he on the Titanic or no?
No.
No.
But a lot of people believe that it was the Rockefellers, the big oil companies, because they didn't want to have a competitor for crude oil.
Well, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Like if you're the head of a oil at that time monopoly, you don't want this upstart guy to go steal your market share.
And you don't want water engines, right? You don't want free energy for the people. So, anyways.
Very
now,
interesting.
Amy Eskridge, another scientist that was murdered in 2022, she was the first. She said that
Alabama. I know I've said that
in Huntsville, Alabama, they're constantly creating working prototypes, and they run perfectly on the first try. I'm going to let her tell you this. And then they go to get more government funding. They don't get them, and they put them on the line, and scrap metalers bid on them, and they're melted down. Listen to this.
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama. I know I've said that several times. We're the Rocket City. We're the biggest steal you've never heard of. Von Braun was here, and we won the space race. We developed the Saturn V here. We built the Saturn V here. We won the space race here in Alabama, whether you've heard of it or not. And I can tell you for a fact, so many prototypes. So many prototypes.
What?
So many prototypes of what?
What? I don't know why this got cut. Hold on.
Okay, so who is this Amy Eskridge? I've not heard of this person. It's is she on my list? Is she on my summary list of people who have died? Amy Eskridge. No, she's not on my 10.
No, she's the 11th after we talked about it last week.
Oh, she's the 11th. Did you do a story on her last week?
I did a story on her this week.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is a longer video. Let's play this one right here.
Well, this one...
is that
this is... Well, what she said in that last one is that they're melting down these inventions for scrap metal. I want to find the rest of that clip. She's also said that she believes that a lot of the elites have time traveled here from the future.
A lot of the elites have time traveled. Like who? Does she name names?
No, because the guy interviewing her interrupts her.
Really? Where's that clip at?
It's like
Where's that clip?
It's literally a 3.5 hour interview. Let me get this.
We got to get that clip. We got to find out who the interviewer is and what interests that dude has.
No, I think they were like drinking beer. Like, let me see if this is it. This might be it.
All right, let's play it. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the stream gets shut down. Okay.
It's been independently discovered 4 other times. He said it has been suppressed every single fucking time. And he said, I don't think they're going to suppress it this time. He said, I think you're in the clear. He said they obviously know about you because I've had multiple both protective and threatening interactions with various agency affiliations, whatever. He was like, if you haven't had a U.S. government agent come to you and say, stop, shut the fuck up, stop, shut the fuck up. If that hasn't happened, they're going to let you do it. They're waiting. There are SSP motherfuckers that are fucking twiddling their thumbs. Like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Gah. We've been influencing this bitch forever. Doesn't she know we want her to publish? Jesus. Like, there's multiple people doing that right now. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it. They're going to kill you.
Okay, so she apparently died in 2022.
Yes.
of a allegedly self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yes.
And so here's what she was researching. She's the co-founder of the Institute for Exotic Science in Huntsville, with work focusing on experimental propulsion concepts, including anti-gravity research. So some pretty interesting things we discovered.
And free energy. She was trying to figure out free energy.
Okay.
That was one of the things.
Right. It says if you stick your neck out in public and at least someone notices if your head gets chopped off, Eskridge said. If you stick your neck out in private, they will bury you. Okay, so that's why she was going public. So she did a 2-hour interview. I think this is maybe the one you were referring to, and she comments on aliens, foreign nation state agents, and other concerns she had about her security and privacy.
And now her business partner a few days ago came out posting screenshots of their text messages together, which you can see here, but it's a video, so I'm not gonna.
We'll blow that up, make it bigger.
Well, I have it in quotes here.
Oh.
And she literally wrote in these text messages, if you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not. If you see any report that I overdosed, I most definitely did not. If you see any report that I killed anyone else, I most definitely did not. And this was like weeks before she was supposedly committed suicide in June. This was in May. She sent these texts.
That seems very concerning. Very concerning. I mean, this one seems kind of like, I always go like, okay, what are they saying right before she died? Like, what interests is she potentially butting up against, right? Who is she threatening, right? This whole, like, if she's talking about free energy, if she's talking about like anti-gravity, a lot of the stuff seems like they don't want it to get out. But then who is the one? Is it like an actual government operation? Was it like some private contractor maybe sent in to do something? We've studied this very recently. We talked a lot about like these private contractors who can be summoned to do some of this, nefarious stuff. Maybe we think that's what happened, or at least that's what I think happened to the whistleblower against Sam Altman at OpenAI. Is
100%.
That they hired some non-government, like private security firm to go in and off somebody, make it look like a suicide, even though I don't think they did the best job at that, some weird stuff going on here.
No.
And this probably came out because 2022, I don't think people were necessarily like focusing in a lot on this. So we don't have like, at least not yet, a lot of the details like about her death, like self-inflicted gunshot wound. How? Like, was there an autopsy? What were the forensics behind it? Who owned the gun? This kind of stuff. No information. Or at least I don't have the information.
No. I don't have it on me. We can absolutely look it up. But she had said some really out there things.
Because it's interesting. It's like, why are they so concerned? Because, like, nobody's paying attention to this, right? Well, at least normie people like myself are not paying attention. So, like, what's the risk really of having them go out there and, like, say crazy shit? Unless there's something that, like, she's building a business, like something is about to happen where if this information comes out, or if she does something, then like it like messes up the entire whatever industry around oil and gas or whatever it might be.
Well, right. You can only imagine the different things that these scientists do, right? I don't think that it's, we didn't go to the moon. I think it is more substantial, like free energy, or who knows? This is going to seem super crazy to you. This seems super crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's alleging that there's time travel.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Well, so the ultra-terrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultra-terrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is?
I don't.
They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future. P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. it wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
I have no idea what she's saying. What, P-52s? P-47s? Explain. I don't get what she's saying.
So this is, you know...
Oh, we have a chart here for it. Okay, nice.
Yes.
Here we go. Doctrine of the convergent timeline paradox. Okay, the point of looking glass observation. Oh, yeah, I think this is in, like, Back to the Future right here. There's a scene like this.
Okay.
Okay, where it forks off like that. Timeline 1, timeline 2. Very interesting.
So this is what she believes is real. She believes that people from the future or their descendants have time traveled back here. But what I find so...
At this inflection point,
At
right?
this
Point
inflection
of the
point.
looking glass.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I find so interesting is that you have all these elites building bunkers. And she says in 2022, when that interview took place, there's going to be a calamity where almost everything is wiped out, but the people in the bunkers survived and a few above ground survived as well.
Okay. It's like a nuclear fallout. Makes sense. People on the ground survive, and some survive the nuclear fallout, like if they're...
So it would be interesting. Are these people that are inventing this artificial superintelligence, like Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg and these people that are building these bunkers, they've gone on Theo Vaughn, they've admitted to building these bunkers, are they, you know, getting a heads up from their future self? Hey, this is what's going to happen. You need to go underground. You need to build it. This is what you're going to... I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to absorb this timeline 1, timeline 2. One says nuclear war, China versus USA, 7.5 billion, killing 7.5 billion people. The other says no nuclear war, USA surrenders to China. But then she's talking about P-52s, P-45s. Are these like
present
competing?
moment plus 45,000 years, present moment plus 52,000 years.
But that doesn't make sense. Are these the 52,000 year people coming back and trying to fork into the number 1 timeline? What is this? What is this chart saying? It seems like we can either choose nuclear war or no nuclear war. Right? This is what this is talking about.
Maybe it goes 2 different ways. I don't know.
Oh, I've literally never heard these concepts. I'm just trying to digest what the heck I'm seeing here. Timeline 1, timeline 2, P-45s, right? These are all people from the future, I guess. But is one trying to steer us towards timeline 1, the other steering towards timeline 2? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, but I think
right,
so.
so
But
45,000 years until the end of the universe timeline. 52,000 years until the end of the universe timeline. Present moment, so we're in the P. So I don't understand this chart, this paradox. It is a paradox, I guess. Why? I don't know exactly.
So
this doesn't make any sense. Actually,
but this is my point, right? This is my point that I think is really interesting that she committed suicide, because I don't understand this. I understand what she's trying to say, that there's time travelers and there's all this stuff, but you could easily label this girl as crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think
she went out, she did text messages multiple times to her friends, to her business partners. I'm not going to kill myself. She ends up shot in the head.
Well, I'll say this about suicides and things like that. There are ways, and because I've talked to people who are currently getting threatened right now by these kinds of like security forces, it does
That are
drive
scientists?
They're not scientists. No, these are more like I would say whistleblowers within the AI. Anyways, they're challenging the AI infrastructure and development, but they're meant to make them go crazy. Like there are things that they do psychologically to people that make them go crazy and potentially kill themselves. Because ideally, they wouldn't have to go and off her. Ideally, she would just do it herself. That's what I think. It's like you want to create the conditions for her to commit suicide, right? You inject like weird things into her environment. She thinks she's being followed. She thinks like the lights are turning on and off, or like her stuff is getting like, you know, the monitor's turning on and off.
In that interview, she said her and her boyfriend realized that they kept getting broken into because stuff was rearranged and stuff. She said that in that.
I have heard direct firsthand account of this happening to people currently being threatened, is that they do a break-in, they don't take anything, but like some things are shifted around. And then it makes you kind of go crazy because you talk to people, nobody believes you. They're like, you're crazy. And they start to go down this like dark, dark hole.
For me, I totally think that that's possible, right? What you're saying. But
it's the same story, though, because it doesn't matter if she killed herself or they pulled the trigger. She's dead. Regardless, she's dead.
Wow, you sound like Bill Gates with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, he's dead, so you better be careful.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, like, it doesn't really matter who pulled the trigger. The important thing is that she's no longer here. So if they can drive her to do that through psychological, manipulation and warfare, versus like hiring a hitman to go to her house and pull the trigger and kill her, the option A would probably be preferred because it's a little bit cleaner that way. Option B is like now they got to clean up a crime scene. There could be people that saw it, eyewitnesses, things like that. So they would go with option A. But at the end of the day, the mission is accomplished, is what I'm saying.
The mission is accomplished, but it does matter to me if they were murdered or if they were psychologically,
experiment, like they're doing psychological warfare.
Because it reminds me of Virginia Giuffre, one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, right?
She was also saying the same thing.
She spent her whole entire life fighting as a fighter, going up against probably the same people, the elites, saying, I'm going to expose you. I don't care. You ruined my life. You did this and that. She's hit by a fucking bus. She's hit by a bus. She's told she has 4 days to live. She survives being literally hit by a bus. That's like something people say. She's bruised all over. She gets on Instagram Live and goes, I was just hit by a bus. Mm-hmm. They said I have 4 days. She survives a month later, and then all of a sudden she commits suicide, which her brother and her dad are on record saying, no way she committed suicide. Amy Eskridge had sent text messages weeks before to her business partner saying, I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to kill myself with a gun. I'm not going to overdose. I'm also not going to kill somebody else because she thought she might be framed. Then you have David Wilcock, who 2 days ago was going on, making sure that he was saying and scene, not end scene, and saying, I'm so grateful for my life, and these scientists are scary, and putting out tweets saying, I'm not suicidal. So you're saying that these people didn't kill themselves and they were like... I think they were murdered. I'm not saying that that's not the case with some other scientists. Maybe to your point, some of these actually did commit suicide. But the ones that are making such a great effort to say, I'm not suicidal, I'm not going to do myself in this way, this way, this way, this way, or this way. And then they end up with a gunshot wound to the head when they literally texted 2 weeks before saying, I'm not going to put a bullet in my head. I find that very suspect. And I don't think that people... would go to such great lengths and then end up killing themselves.
Well, I mean, just by the sheer fact that they're saying all this stuff, I think is a sign that they're being psychologically tormented.
Well, she said, I've had people come to me and say...
Well, I know. My point is, I think those are already signs of distress, okay, that they're signaling to the world. So then how do you know that there wasn't like any kind of like drugs or psychosis that they're inducing these people to make them do something that they would never do? Right? Aren't there like some things that you like can give somebody and they go crazy and they kill themselves?
I'm sure that there are.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if I think we're saying the same things basically. Is that I think these guys, the people, the powers that be, I think they are smarter than to like just send some guy and like pulling a trigger and shit. I think they would make them commit suicide is what I'm saying.
Or make it look like they committed suicide.
Which
is more on the side that I'm on. With specifically only with Amy Eskridge and David Wilcock, because they were so open about I would never kill myself. David Wilcock, for example, said, you never want to commit suicide. I'm pretty sure that's what this clip is, quoting scripture.
I love this. 10:16. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life only to take it up again. That's the ascension. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. I have the authority to lay it down and the authority to take it up again. This commandment I received from my Father because he's an ascended being. Again, most of us can't do this. You don't get to resurrect. If you lay down your life, you're done. So please don't do that. Please don't be stupid. Okay? It's something you never want to have to go through. And again, natural is the only way to go. But anyway.
Well, natural is the only way to go. The way maybe I'm just interpreting a little different because I would interpret those things as almost like signaling to the world that I wouldn't do this, but there are ways for these guys to be induced into doing something they would never do.
Totally. 100% agree with you.
So it's the same. So I think we're talking about the same things.
Yeah. Semantics.
So yeah, either somebody sent somebody to kill him, or they made him do it, like pull the trigger themselves under some kind of psychosis, like drug-induced psychosis. It's the same.
I think that when you look at the 12, right, you have people that went hiking and disappeared. You have people that went missing and ended up floating in a lake. You have people that committed suicide, and then you have people like Carl Grillmeyer that were hunted down and shot, right? And then we know that they were murdered. So, and then, of course, people that, committed suicide. So I'm just saying, I think there's a mix of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just harder for me to believe these, like, very strong-willed people. Like, how long does that psychological warfare take? This guy, David Wilcox, was saying this 24 hours before he committed suicide.
Well, it's a long process.
So to
these people are tormented. These people are like, basically, they're manipulated over the course of like months and years.
Right.
Okay, so this is like not like a sudden thing. They take time. They start doing weird little things to see how you respond, and then they sometimes go to your family too. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, and I totally agree with you. I'm just saying, like David Wilcock, because he had just streamed that on Sunday of this week, I don't think the psychological warfare had enough time before Monday, is all I'm saying in this case.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So, like, the bigger question is, like, what is actually going on? Whether these people killed themselves, they were killed, is like, what are the secrets? Why? Why is this happening? And is Kash Patel really going to get to the bottom of this?
Of course not.
Is he actually serious?
Oh, my God. You know who did this?
What?
Who killed these people?
Who?
Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. Tyler with the 30-06.
I mean, we couldn't believe it, but.
Yeah. that was solid. That was a good one. I for a second, I thought you had like a revelation.
Real.
That you were.
Real information.
Something
there.
just like, hey, you're like, you know what?
Yes.
This whole thing could be tied together by this one dude, Tyler Robinson.
Exactly. That's what Kash Patel is going to come out and say.
Right, because this isn't all too different than like a lot of like weird, mysterious deaths of like really bright geniuses. And then like I think geniuses are like somewhat tormented souls because like nobody can really relate to them in a lot of ways, right? They're already a little bit isolated from regular people. And then add on top of that, you have weird things happening inside your house and your phone not calling properly or shut off remotely.
Imagine right now if you're working at Caltech, for example.
I would not be working at Caltech right now.
I'm just saying, like, that would be so scary. I mean, if you did have information, you're not going to say a peep now. If you're a scientist right now, do you think, and you're working in this field, or even if you're like in the David Wilcock thing and you're a UFO researcher, are you going to come forward and say anything? The only one that seems to be doing that is Bob Lazar, specifically on the Joe Rogan show, which is why people think he might be a plant.
Well, I think there was that, didn't we play that clip like last week or something where Joe Rogan's like saying, oh yeah, just give me all the information. I'll, do whatever you guys want. Just give me the real information and I'll go out and basically shill for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that might be what's happening right now. I guess I'm probably never going to go on Rogan now, but that's probably what's going on, right? That's like, he's been compromised by the state because maybe they gave him a little bit of what he wanted, and now he's like, all right, I'll do your bidding because I have the biggest podcast and I'm chill. I don't need to die. I have my kids. I have my family.
Yeah. I don't know.
That seems, seems like it's possible.
He was in the White House, Joe Rogan.
He was.
This weekend with Trump. And, shook his hand, dapped it up, I think is what they say, at the UFC fight with him. Isn't that the terminology used? And then there's also, like, weird clips. I just found this interesting. This was on Joe Rogan's show yesterday. His guest says, like, I really believed in Elon and Trump and Doge, and we know that went nowhere, right? Like, Doge went nowhere. That was just a big
Well, Doge was
distraction.
I think there was a couple of there's a couple of things that Doge did that initially made sense to me, like going after USAID and things like that, which was like NGOs that were doing coups in other countries. I'm like, yeah, get rid of that. But then when they stopped and said, we're not doing the Pentagon, and I'm like, oh, okay, this whole thing is a farce because you're not going after the biggest piece of expenditure the government has, and you're actually increasing that. And they've failed an audit, I think now, 8 times in a row. I looked it up yesterday.
So crazy.
8 audits failed, and you're not going to Doge that department. It seems like they were like going around the edges of like these small things. It's like, oh, we cut this, we cut that. I think they were supposed to cut like $1.3 trillion or something, and it ended up being like $100 billion. So like way, way short of what they were supposed to do.
And where do you think that money is going?
Israel.
I mean, I should have known. I set myself up for that. That's called a layup, ladies and gentlemen. No, but I don't even want to get into it. But
okay, let's see.
There was the ex-Bush housing and development, urban housing and development head that went on Tucker Carlson and said that the Pentagon money that's going missing is building underground cities.
Is that what they said? Oh, actually, before you play this, can you go back to the because I just want to make this point. So, because obviously these people are dying, right? There's not like it could be foreign sources, it could be domestic, but pull up that one on the Trump deputy G3, right? Because this is who is sort of high up in our G3, high up in our counterterrorism department is this lady right here who is attractive, but she go up a little bit. So she apparently has been under investigation for actively seeking sugar daddies to maintain her lifestyle. And I'm like, how did this person? So I did some research on her this morning, this Julia Varvaro character. And she was in the Biden administration under FEMA as a program analyst. I don't really know what a program analyst at FEMA does, but I do know FEMA is like kind of a fraudulent organization.
Well, remember when there were the hurricanes in Florida and the people with Trump flags weren't getting any aid?
Yeah, exactly.
She was programming
So I'm like, how did she go from program analyst under the Biden administration in I think 2022, 23, and then she worked all the way up to 24, 25, and then was hired by Trump to be the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism.
Because
as a
this
29-year-old.
is central casting.
Yeah, look at this lady.
Oh my gosh.
This is incredible.
So on my story that I did about David Wilcock yesterday, I can't believe it's taken me this long to say, and I should have put this or told you about this and put it in our production notes, but someone said, I want to read it. Someone said in the comments, haven't all of these murders started happening as soon as Erica Kirk got the board seat on the Air Force Academy or whatever?
Is that no? I don't, because some of these are like from a couple, like that lady that you talked, the Amy Eskers.
Yes, that was
from
2022. But there has been an increase. I think if we looked at the timeline, I don't know. I'd have to.
We have to look at the time because I think there's some
that.
increase in the reporting of it. Like people are reporting on this issue now, but I think a lot of them stem back like a year or two, like in totality.
Yeah.
That's there is that one list right here. So
here's
here
the list. We have.
So 2026, February 27, 2026.
Hold on, I want to see when this. So Trump made his tweet on February 19th.
Okay.
Saying we're going to release the government files. I'm going to, tell the agencies to release the files. So a week after that, General McCaslin disappears.
And this is the guy. Remember we played the clip from a couple minutes ago with the unknown whistleblower.
That was his friend
yes,
saying, "No
exactly.
way, this guy," which makes a lot of sense too, right? These guys aren't, you know. 2025.
Carl Gromeyer, February as well.
Yes.
That's a big one. Nuno, late 2025. He was a massive one because this guy was actually, I think, working on some groundbreaking stuff. Like he was in the research labs versus like on YouTube.
So was Carl Gromeyer.
Yes. Those two, I think, are big deals.
I mean.
So I think some of this is from 25. I don't think it's, as much as I want to pin everything on Erica Kirk, I'm not sure if everything is tied
I just thought it was an interesting point.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting point.
People have interesting points in the comments. Your comment section probably pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked too much in yours unless they're saying Dani's a dumb bitch. And then I'm like, okay.
No, nobody's saying no. No, people are like, because like I said, I'm like, my conspiracies are stuff. It's stuff like now I'm catching up to like the Trump Butler shooting conspiracy, you know, that people have been talking about for a year and a half. I'm like, I just did a video. People are like, where have you been? I'm like, I'm catching up. I don't know. I just saw this video recently of the flag getting lowered. I don't know.
And so you think that he was not shot now?
I think it was staged. Oh, here's a video. Yeah, you've seen this video, right?
Of course.
Right? And to me, like the weirdest thing is we'll play it, but there's the flag coming into frame when it wasn't there.
And I would just like to also say with that hot chick that's working for counterterrorism or whatever.
Yeah.
Like how you said?
Yeah.
Like central casting.
Or did she suck Trump's dick?
Like Laura Loomer?
Yeah, like Laura Loomer.
With those big blowfish lips.
Look,
Okay.
that's how you want it, right? Isn't that good? That's like plus for the blowjob.
I don't have a dick. I don't know what you're asking me. Okay. Sorry. And also, if I did, I don't think I'd want Laura Loomer.
Look, I'm not saying that Laura Loomer is the most attractive lady, but you got the, you know.
Unless she's like, no, I don't want to be mean.
Do it.
No, I was just gonna say like, she looks like she might be like some sort of like clown character in a horror film.
Look, the thing is, like, I actually don't really know what she looks like because every time I see her picture on X,
people
have
distort
manipulated.
it? Okay.
Yeah, like I think it's like distorted. Everything is like looking really weird. So I'm like, I actually don't know what she
really
looks
like?
What she really looks like. I've never seen her in person, so I'm like, because I know people make fun of her all the time, and they give her like these like massive lips or the cheekbones, or like they make her look like a man. And
Yeah.
so like I don't really know what she looks like.
Okay, so I don't either because maybe I'm looking at one of those pictures. But since the White House is having the state dinner sponsored by Grindr, we might get a sex tape of Laura Loomer sucking Trump's dick. I mean, you just never know what we can expect these days.
Look, TMZ's
Aliens,
on it.
Project Bluebeam. TMZ is a state outlet. We learned that from the Jeffrey Epstein files.
But now they're doing their in like correspondent like congressional beat, right? Because before they used to just do celebrity stuff. And now they recently opened up an office in DC to go after congressmen because I think people realize that nobody gives a shit about celebrity gossip anymore, not as much. And so they're like, where are we going to, you know, because like I think those views are like plummeting, right? Nobody cares like so-and-so is doing this and that, like paparazzi, Hollywood, nobody cares. But then the congressional stuff, very interesting. All the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, like this counterterrorism lady is like,
yeah, because they're also
doing
actors.
sugar daddies. So there's a
This
bit
is
of
the
a
new
crossover.
Hollywood.
This is the new Hollywood. This is the new Hollywood.
Has
Yes,
died because it moved to DC.
that's right. That's, you know what? That's, I totally agree with you. That's exactly what's happening.
I mean,
and maybe it's always been Hollywood, right? I think it's always been sort of Hollywood in a
Yeah.
sense, but especially in the last like 20 years, it seems like all these candidates, if you go back, they have IMDb pages.
Yes.
Like Gavin Newsom has an IMDb page for whatever reason, you know.
Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Michelle. I mean, they all do. Then they leave office. They get in with the talent agency, and then they're directing films and stuff.
Is it just like ugly Hollywood? Is that what DC has become basically? It's like people who can't make it in movies then go to DC? Is that kind of like, because Ben Shapiro wanted to be in Hollywood. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
He was like a screenwriter. He wanted to be in the Hollywood space and he failed spectacularly and then he became a political commentator. And maybe he'll run for office one day. I don't know. I don't know what's left for him. To be honest.
I don't think anything good. But when you look at these, like I keep bringing up the Secret Service agent.
You mean the ones we're about to see right here?
No, the one at the gas station that was 12.
Oh.
And then you look at like.
Oh, that lady. Because I was doing research on her, the one we just saw, Julia Varvaro.
Yes.
She was a U.S. Secret Service.
That's how.
That was her first job.
If you can do well here, if you look like that and people believe that you're Secret Service, we promote you to counterintelligence. Like, it's something weird.
Yeah.
It's something strange.
Very strange. And it's like, then she's...
And when we watch this Butler video, you're telling me this is the best we got? Like, I'm just saying, look, right?
I don't know. But now I need to do a full dig into that lady.
You need to do a full dig into that lady, but if I had security... Sorry, I'm not having any females. I'm not. I don't give a fuck.
What about the really butch ones that are like lesbos, you know?
No.
You don't want those in there?
No.
Because I feel like they could do some damage.
I want Navy SEAL sniper. I want Mark Devines.
Yeah.
The whole thing. All Mark Devines.
Oh my, you know, those are, but you might, I think there's only a limited supply of Mark Devines to go around, you know?
Well, you'd think the President of the United States would have all of them. Instead of these Gerber babies, like with their Ray-Bans on, like.
All right, let's see this. Let's see this.
Insane.
The president's been shot. Oh no. No. Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering him. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. We love you, President Trump.
They're coming in.
We love you. Yes. Yes.
You've seen this. I just saw this recently.
Well, there was a lot of conspiracies going around.
What do you think this is all about? Like, why are the photographers? Look how many. Like, there's been active shooter situation. Photographers coming in. Secret Service waving them in there.
Well, not only that, but I don't know if you put this in your story, but it was the first Trump rally that CNN had been to.
Oh, I didn't put that. Oh, I should have put that in. Yes, I read that too. It was the first live stream, the only live stream
they ever
rally
did.
Because CNN at this point they hate to cover Trump. They're like, we don't want to give him any more airtime. But then this is the one they did.
So because I've always been a tinhead, I believed Trump. They tried to kill him. But there was so many weird things that were going on with Thomas Crooks, right? People had reported that he was on the roof. Then they said, well, we couldn't get on the roof because it was too slanted. I was pulling up videos of cows in, the Netherlands that were on more slanted roofs. And I'm going, you couldn't get your ass on the fucking roof to save the president? Cows can balance on the roofs. Anyways, then, you had the CNN thing. Did his ear, then you see the ear. Never looked like it was... shot. Right?
No.
Which, look, lizards' tails grow back. If he's a reptile, I don't know.
Or is he a time traveler? You're saying he could.
There's a lot of people that think he's a time traveler.
Really? Okay. Well, the other thing too was that when I first saw this, I was like, oh, I don't think it is a hoax because somebody died. And then now I'm recently realizing, yeah, of course somebody died. They have to make it look somewhat real. They would definitely sacrifice somebody. One or two people to make it seem more real. There was a tweet from a Trump supporter. She's a national delegate during the convention for him. And she's like, have you ever heard Trump talk about this? Trump loves talking about himself. No, he's never talked about this really. He's talked about it one time at the convention. He's like, I'm never going to talk about it again. And so Trump, the person who loves to talk about himself, has never brought this up.
But he talked about the guy that was murdered many times.
What guy?
That was shot. The firefighter.
Oh, yeah. They're using him as a prop for their, he's like, oh,
which is so sad to say, by the way, he did die. He was a victim.
Yeah. But he, Trump, to me, this is a little bit out of character because he would be bringing this up. He's like, wow, look at this. I survived this. They tried to get me. No, they couldn't get me because I'm,
well,
so
this
powerful.
Solidified his win.
This definitely solidified his win.
100%. Because it was the court prosecutions, right, that were going on right before this. All of the people that were already fans of Trump were going, they're trying to put him in jail, what did they call it? A banana republic, right?
Yeah.
They're getting rid of their opponents, blah, blah, blah. And then it was the needle wasn't moving that much. This is my timeline. Tried to assassinate Trump. They're trying to take him out. This solidifies that now. And then we still don't have the needle moved quite enough. Bring in RFK Jr. Cherry on top. Sealed the deal.
Yes. I think that does make a lot of sense. But the question that I posed this morning on X, and a lot of people seem to think that it's the latter, is is this a signal to Trump that's hey, if you step out of line, this is what could happen to you? Or do you think Trump is in on it? In that he is fully aware of now the demonic forces that seem to be controlling his behavior, right? All the stuff that he's doing is completely opposite. It's is Trump doing it because he was always in on the plan? Or was Butler kind of, if we think it's not real, was it a signal to Trump to say, if you step out of line, you're gone?
Well, there are things recently that have made people like Tucker Carlson and myself and others that voted for Trump go back and reevaluate some of the behaviors that Trump had and wonder if he was in on it the whole entire time. For example, he didn't put his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in.
Don't you have to put your hand on the Bible?
No.
You don't? I thought it was required.
That's actually, I don't know.
Yeah, that was, what?
But he didn't. And let's watch this really quick.
On Inauguration Day, the president did not take his oath of office with his hand on the Bible. His wife stood next to him holding it. I was about 15 feet away and saw it, but he did not put his hand on the Bible. And that should have been maybe a clue that we need to pause and think about, what is this? Why wouldn't you put your hand on the Bible? If you don't believe in the Bible, there's no cost to you to putting your hand on it, just kind of following the protocol, going along with the tradition. All presidents do it. Why aren't you doing it? And you're not doing it intentionally. You're choosing not to put your hand on the Bible when you take that oath. That suggests not that you don't believe it's real, because if you didn't believe it was real, why would you care? That suggests you know it is real and you're rejecting it. You know what you're doing and you're doing it anyway. But nobody asked questions about that either. It seemed kind of inappropriate, given the celebration then in progress, to ask, why wouldn't you put your hand on the Bible when you take the oath of office to lead our nation? But pretty much nobody did. I didn't. I'll admit that. I saw it and didn't say one word. Bothered me ever since.
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, Tucker's been out there. He's like basically denounced Trump. Not even denounced him. He was just like, hey, I'm really sorry. I actually have to apologize, do a mea culpa for saying that I was misled, not on purpose, but then now I'm culpable for some of the things that are going on right now, versus like other people, Joe, who's not really addressing, hey, this guy isn't who we thought it was. You did the same thing kind of last week. I think I saw a good comment saying like, oh, it takes a lot to kind of own, hey, I
think one of the most important things that you can do in any situation, in a relationship and whatever, is admit when you were wrong.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing that. Like, if I'm wrong, I'll tell you, like, hey, I was wrong. And right. I look back and I had the best intentions. I like to think I'm a good person that wants the best for my country. And I looked at Kamala Harris as a woman. I'm like, this bitch ain't it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't really give us a good option.
And they're not going to give us a good option, because going forward, it's going to be J.D. Vance versus Gavin Newsom.
And that is by design.
Yeah.
Because they're all working for the same people. That's why there's that joke, no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. That is by design, because the people that are funding these campaigns, that's the only way we even get these options, is because they're funded by super PACs and all of the super rich people. They're able to prop up who they want in there. They're most likely puppets.
They're all puppets.
Right? We scratch your back, you do what we say. And I think what we say is carrying out whatever agenda it is. And I think it's the same thing around the world. I don't think that's just unique to the United States. I think that's why you see, like during COVID, these coordinated efforts to push the vaccine and the lockdowns, or coming up surveillance states.
Well, there certainly is, like, I think you were making this point of like one world government kind of thing, like the WEF, right?
Yes.
You think and I think part of the WEF is trying to infiltrate governments, and they want their leaders that they've groomed over the years, like a Justin Trudeau, to then assume office. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I think it's...
I just was laughing because him and Katy Perry were at Coachella this weekend.
Yeah.
It's just pathetic. It's just so pathetic. Go on.
But anyway, so what I'm saying is that I don't know if there's like a one world government. I don't know if you consider that one world. I don't know. Maybe this is semantics again. Is that they're trying to like groom leaders from when they're a young age, like get them into this, indoctrinate them into this kind of thinking, this globalist kind of thinking, and then they assume positions in all of these different countries, and therefore they would naturally be incentivized or influenced to work together.
Yeah, and what's concerning about all of this stuff, to kind of loop it together, which I feel like I've done a horrible job on this episode talking about the scientists, because like I know very little so far, but like in Revelations, it does say that there will be a like one world government, one religion, one currency. And, there's also going to be the mark of the beast, which people believe are central bank digital currencies or some sort of a payment chip. Right? And so are these elitist organizations and then these elitist plants all working towards the same thing in these end times?
So like, I think part of so unpack that for us a little bit, because part of Revelations is like this more like, I don't know what the right word is. There's like a fancy word for it. I can't remember.
It's like prophetic scripture,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Eschatological or something like that. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like talking about like bringing back the Messiah, right? That's one aspect. The other aspect is like a more like economic, world.
Well,
economic
it's
forum type of
laying
argument.
out what's going to happen before Jesus returns.
But I don't know if that's like what's driving the behavior of like Justin Trudeau. Like, I don't think he gives a shit about setting up the end times prophecy.
No, but what about Benjamin Netanyahu?
I think Benjamin Netanyahu is secular. I don't think he gives a shit about, actual, Judaism or anything like that. I think he's more using those references to convince the population that what he's doing is just and is necessary.
So there are people that believe that in the end times, when before Jesus returns, there's going to be a projection of a false prophet out of a temple. And people believe that it'll be this third temple, right? You and I talked about this a little bit. This show should be called We Know Basically Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? We know basically nothing.
Good, because if we knew something, we would probably be
Well,
dead.
no, but we really haven't done a lot of research on a lot of this stuff. But it's interesting because last night, President Trump did something that a lot of conservatives are going to be like, and I saw it on X. A lot of conservatives said, this is what I voted for. President Trump read Bible verses last night, right? This is what I voted for. And I don't even know if we need to...
Well, let's play a little bit of it. Is he going to go out there and read some good stuff?
It's just him on camera, okay?
Is he going to read?
Yes.
Thus Solomon finished the house of the Lord and the king's house, and all that came into Solomon's heart to make in the house of the Lord, and in his own house he prosperously effected. And the Lord appeared to Solomon by night and said to him, I have heard your prayer and have chosen this place to myself for a house of sacrifice. If I shut up heaven, that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Now my eyes...
Kind of an empty crowd, don't you think? Why isn't that full?
It's TPUSA event.
Why wouldn't that be packed to the brim? And also, is there a significance to the particular verse that he chose?
So that's what's so interesting, right? Because everybody's like, this is what I voted for. Wow, President Trump reads too. Look, you've got a whole Bible, okay? And you choose a verse that's talking about Solomon's first temple.
Okay.
Out of all the scripture you can choose.
What's the significance of that?
Well, there's the first temple that was built by Solomon. Then there's the second temple that was built by Solomon. And now there's, this third temple that people believe will be built where the Rock of the Dome is currently in Jerusalem, which is an Islamic place of prayer.
Yep.
But people believe that somehow that will be demolished, in a sense, to build the third temple, and that is where you're going to have the false prophet project himself out of.
Yes.
And so it's just interesting that he decided out of the whole Bible, he doesn't read God is love, love thy neighbor. He doesn't give any scriptures about peace, right? He doesn't give any scriptures about turn thy cheek. He reads scripture from the Old Testament long before Jesus was even born. He chooses this scripture specifically, and people are saying this is a signal to the world that they are going to build the third temple.
Well, they've been trying to build the third temple for quite some time. Some people are saying, and this is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, just a fair warning, is that the Israelis have been doing these archaeological digs underneath Al-Aqsa Mosque.
To do like a controlled demolition.
Exactly. Have you seen this?
Have you
heard of this? They're like...
Yes.
Going underneath. They're saying they're looking for like artifacts or whatever. They found nothing, basically, because there's nothing in there. So then they're saying they're just slowly kind of demolishing it from underneath, and then one day something will happen and it'll just kind of collapse, and then that's when they do it.
So, and what's the temple called? The Islamic...
Al-Aqsa.
Okay, so it's I believe the oldest Islamic place of prayer.
I don't know. It's considered the
exists.
top 3, like the Mecca, and there's like I can't remember the other one.
And then there's the Rock of the Dome, which is different. It's a rock there that God gave Moses the Ark of the Covenant. This is a very historically rich.
The Rock of the Dome is the oldest surviving work of Islamic architecture.
Okay, so it's the same. Okay. But this is a very historically rich geography. And anyways, it's just very interesting.
So you think it's like obviously deliberate that he chose that particular passage and he was trying to signal something?
Well, of course it was deliberate. Yeah. The question again is why? Why is he choosing that, right? Why are they killing these scientists? You know, there's Project Bluebeam that came out, I believe, in the 1970s. It was declassified CIA document that said that they would use UFOs and hologram technology to scare the world into whatever narrative they wanted to do.
I do have a summary. Because I recently learning about this Project Bluebeam. There's something it's F3. Project Bluebeam. This is apparently what it is here. It's a conspiracy theory, okay? Originated by Serge Monast in the 1990s, alleging a NASA UN plot to implement a totalitarian New World Order.
Well, this is the conspiracy theory, but okay, go ahead.
But it claims elites will use holographic technology. You were just talking about it. Elites are using holographic technology, faked alien invasions, and simulated religious events to destabilize society and replace traditional faiths with a new age religion. Right? This is what you were talking about.
It is what I'm talking about, but there are declassified CIA documents that talk about how they will, that they can use aliens to scare the population into whatever way the government wants it to go.
So you think that's tied in right now to like the alien, like declassified UFO tweet that was sent out in February by Trump?
Well, I think that, you know, this administration all of a sudden is saying, we're going to declassify these documents. And I think these scientists are being offed because...
Oh, that would contradict... the documents being released. Because if you have people in the know who understand the documents, they could say, well, this is wrong, and debunk some of these things live, but then you get rid of them beforehand, so then now there's nobody to do that work, and then the public will just eat up these declassified files as the truth. And this is part of the Project Bluebeam plan to, what you're saying is, what, to bring about a one world order? Yeah, because who cares about Iran or Israel or China if there's an alien invasion that they're able to create? It's us versus them. Now we all have to come together. Independence Day, the movie. Is that? I don't know. I haven't. You've never seen that movie? No, but it seems as though they constantly have this stuff in movies. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me keep going with this though, because I'm curious. Okay, so developed in the mid-1990s. And alleged stages. Okay, this theory posits a multi-stage plan, including initiating earthquakes to reveal false archaeological discoveries, followed by massive space-based holographic projections of religious or alien figures tailored to local regions. So each region is going to have their own different thing. Final goal, to create worldwide panic, dismantle existing religious beliefs, and instill a single central world government and religion. Well, that seems like a lot. That seems like a lot going on there. Well, and it's interesting because in Revelations, it says that before Jesus comes back, there will be a one government religion. Is that what it says in there? Yeah. Really? That's part of the scripture. What? That's Go ahead and bring it up. I don't. So that's why I'm saying this kind of all ties, you know. See, Book of Revelation prophesizes a final global authoritarian system, often interpreted as the one world government ruled by the Antichrist. The entity is described as the beast receiving power from Satan to control all nations, demand worship, and enforce a mark required for economic activity before being defeated by Christ. Wow. Oh, so this is like a huge like battle, spiritual battle between what, I guess, Jesus and Satan. Wow. Which is interesting. Wow. I mean, we're like literally living in like a Harry Potter or like a, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And,
you know, last week when we talked about that meme that Trump posted, and we found out he changed the soldiers to be what we said was Baal. It actually wasn't. It was Lucifer. Which Lucifer is the fallen angel. That is the devil. That is Satan.
That is okay.
So it's interesting. And then Trump has been completely unhinged over the weekend, posting all of these other weird tweets. Let me find them for you. These two were concerning.
Let's see what he says.
This one specifically.
He sent this?
Ashaka Shan La La.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What language is he speaking there?
Great question.
Ashaka Shan La La.
Wait. Somebody said I did a translation.
Oh.
Wait, go back to that. Just pause the audio real quick. Go down in the comments. I did a translation using Claude both forward and backwards, and I would just leave this here. He's speaking Sumerian. Honestly, if you know, you know. What is that? In Sumerian, Sa refers to heart interior, which Su can mean to cover, overwhelm, or set as the sun setting. Na can be repetitive, emphatic form. A rough interpretive translation could be something like, that which overwhelms, covers the heart, into the heart descend. I don't know what that means. Sounds dark, though. Sounds not good.
Well, it sounds like it's covering good, right? The heart would be like love.
That's crazy. I mean, I think it's crazy that even
Well, you want to know why this is weird?
Yeah, why?
The Sumerian thing?
What is it? What does that mean? Yeah.
Well, so Sam Altman, did I put this in here? Right? Oh, I didn't put it. Did you put it in here?
I don't know what you're talking
about. The portals?
The portals.
How there was a whistleblower?
Oh, aliens. Click on the alien one. Is he talking about aliens?
Where is it? Here? Is this it? Where there was a CIA whistle? Yes, this.
Shaping the balance of power between nations and all of our security. One former OpenAI executive said, quote, "We're building portals from which we're genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States and China, and Sam has added one in the Middle East. It's just like wildly important to get how scary that should be." This kind of AI capacity is shaping.
And what did JD Vance and many others say aliens really are? Tucker Carlson has said this. JD Vance has said this.
I have no idea.
Demons. Which is interesting. And then didn't Tim Dillon do a whole thing on? I saw this. That Tim, yes. I don't know where this is, but Tim Dillon said that these portals are actually summoning Sumerian gods, which is weird because I'm just connecting this live, you guys, but I didn't know that was Sumerian that was in that AI. I just wanted to show that he's deranged.
Yeah, allegedly Sumerian.
Maybe he'll say it in the very beginning. Should we watch part of this?
Let's see what he says here.
The things that is always unfair in this comparison is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one inference query. But it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. And not only that, it took like the very widespread evolution of the 100 billion people that have ever lived and learned not to get eaten by predators and learned how to like figure out science and whatever to produce you, and then you took whatever you.
So here's what's going on. I don't want to scare anyone. These people all believe that they are communicating with some ancient Sumerian deity. I know this I have kind of sources on this. They believe they really do. They believe they are communicating with super intelligence, and they do believe, and he just said it out loud, by the way. He literally just said, he was like, the 100 million years of evolution, all of the 20 years of life, they have all led to this point. And this point is when we are going to give birth, as I've said on the show before, because this is their main goal, to the AI demon. They want to give birth to the AI demon, the super intelligent AI, who is then going to run the planet and decide who stays, who goes, who's necessary, who's not. They're pretty open about this. This is the thing about all of the AI people. all of the tech people. They really are, they really are pretty transparent when it comes to what they want to do.
Okay.
And what they need to do in their minds, because they go, if China gets to it first, if China unleashes the AI demon before we unleash our AI demon, our American AI demon, Western values, America, rah-rah AI demon, and China enslaves their population with their demon, they will sell the world their demon, and then that demon will enslave the world, and then they'll make all the money, and they'll have all the political
That's interesting. Well, so I recently saw an interview with the CEO of NVIDIA, and he's, like he's in charge of all the AI because he makes the technology to actually make it work. And he was being pushed on why he wants to sell his chips to China. And he's like defending that position. He says, yeah, why not sell to China? He's like, it's not which kind of contradicts this a little bit, in that the leader of like the most advanced processors want to sell into China. Because they're like, don't you want to, this is a national security thing. Don't you want America to be ahead, right? Why are you giving China the same technology to compete with us? And he was just basically like, I don't see it as a zero-sum game. For me, he was just like talking a little bit like a CEO. He's like, I just want to sell as many chips as possible. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But this thing is, this is my first hearing of this like Sumerian deity that these AI people are communicating. Because to me, a lot of the evidence I've seen of AI recently, and maybe there's like two separate AIs that people are talking about with Sam Altman, is like the OpenAI ChatGPT thing. It seems to be like not that good. Like there's a lot of things that just it doesn't work. Like hallucinations and all this weird stuff.
David Icke says that AI really stands for alien intelligence.
Okay. So then what is it that they're feeding the consumers right now, right? The consumer application of AI must be something very different, because the consumer application doesn't seem like it could really summon anything at all. In fact, there's like a lot of funny videos.
They're giving us an advanced Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
So then are they hiding something behind the scenes that they have more power behind, or is this the best they got? Right? Because we were talking about an AI bubble.
Well, I mean, if a whistleblower is coming forward saying that they are creating portals and summoning aliens around the world, I would say there's something else going on. I would say that these people that we believe are evil, you believe Sam Altman's evil for a bunch of different reasons, that they are evil and that we are in a spiritual war and it's good versus evil. And some of these people that we thought were good, that we thought maybe were going to save the world and make America affordable again, were put in as plants to maybe bring up among end times. Now, the only thing I don't really get is that Revelations is very straightforward. In the end, Jesus wins. So, if all of this is real, is Lucifer and the evil, are they just so confident that they're going to win that they're just like, let's bring it about? We have a new end to this story. I mean, that must be what it is, because why would you want to fast track your demise?
Well, so I might have a more like normie explanation for this, is that they're not true believers. Like Trump, like
but to Tucker Carlson's point,
his hand is not.
But he said, if you don't believe it, you'd put your hand on the Bible, no problem. You're not putting it on because you do believe it's real. Okay. And you don't have allegiance to it. That was Tucker's whole point.
Okay, because I guess my point would be that these guys don't care, and they're just using it because people are believers, and they're using this as a means to manipulate the population. That's what I think a lot of organized religion is just population manipulation and control.
Yeah.
It's not like actual whatever the word of God. I think it's used to control people. And I think they're using this to control people, to say, this is why we got to do a war in Iran. This is why that's why we should destroy this mosque, or, all these things. I think there's no really good, humane reason to do it. So they're like, oh, well, let's go to the Bible.
Yeah. Or they're following the Bible like a blueprint.
There are some people, like there are some extremists, like radical. What do they call? What's that word I'm looking for? It's like eschatological. Maybe the chat knows that word. I don't know.
No, they don't know that. They don't know the word.
It's
either.
like the most extreme, interpretation of the scripture, and some of these people are like having a lot of influence, especially in Israel. These guys have a lot of influence in the government. They're listening to these guys. They're like, this is what we should do. I don't know if it's so much in America, but they're then driving policies. Right? It used to be all the time. Back in the days, I think all the wars were being fought because of religion. You have all kinds of religious wars happening in Europe throughout all the centuries. And then finally, I think it was like the Treaty of Westphalia or something like that. It says, hey, we're going to stop using religion as the basis for going to war. It's going to be for other reasons, like natural resources or expand borders, but it's not going to be because the Bible told us to. And so since then, we have gone away from that until very recently. Now, with this particular war.
Right.
And is it because it is really like the ushering of end time? There are some people interpreting like 1948. There's that Pete Hegseth clip that, we've talked about, 1948, 1967, all these years, like, oh, it's building towards something. Is that what's happening? Or are they just using that to like convince evangelical Christians that this is a good idea?
Who knows? All I know is that if somebody comes to try to chip me, I'm not rolling the dice.
Well, yeah, I hope, you don't.
Because it says,
you're not gonna
it says
do that.
if you take the mark of the beast, which a lot of people believe are like chips it says like a payment system, it's gonna be on your forehead or your hand. It says in the scripture, because I was reading it to prepare for this show, which I apologize again. I didn't do a great job, but hopefully we'll be coming back with part 2 and we'll understand things more. But it says that, whoever's in charge will behead those people. So I'm prepared. I am. I'm not going to get chipped. You can just...
So the idea, to sum it up, though, the idea today is that these scientists, they're onto something. They know it's, extraterrestrials. That's tied to Revelations and bringing about this, like, the Project Bluebeam end times thing, tying into then military operations in Iran. We got the AI guys summoning aliens as well because they want to communicate with some Sumerian deity. You're saying all these things, there are strings connecting all of these dots.
Maybe.
That's kind of what you're saying, right?
In my brain.
I mean, I'm trying to summarize what I've got from you today. This is obviously
you know
way
what?
beyond
Do
my
not
pea.
Throw me under
This
the bus.
is beyond my pea brain.
Oh my God. You know what? This is just so typical. This is her show. I'm just trying to figure out what she's putting up there. No. This is a joint effort. He's involved, ladies and gentlemen. Don't run me over.
I'm not running you. I'm trying to absorb the information that I'm getting.
So am I. I'm trying to absorb it too. I'm absorbing. I'm a sponge. Call me Scrub Mama. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying the scientists that were killed, I think we're going to throw a wrench into somebody's plan. Could that plan be linked to something really nefarious, like with aliens being summoned through AI portals? Like, is there a link there? Or is it just as simple as like, we're going to release alien files and we have a narrative that we want people to believe and these people know too much?
Or is it Israel trying to steal our nuclear secrets?
I mean,
could it be that?
I'm looking forward to a story about that over the weekend.
Anyways, wow. I mean, that was a wild episode, was it not?
I don't even know if we really covered anything.
It's a discovery episode. You see, this is all new information.
Lady Luck 420, is he Roganing her? LOL.
Oh, am I? I'm not. Okay, now I'm being accused of being a CIA asset here.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
I was validating what you were saying, is what I think. I was like, oh, I'm trying to connect. I'm trying to summarize for the audience like what we just went through. I'm trying to make sense of
I don't know
all
that
the different.
I just don't know that we did it today.
I think I did it. You got the scientists, right? They know something. They're getting killed, right? You got the AI guys summoning aliens, allegedly, to communicate with the deities. And then you got the
aliens are supposed to be demons.
And aliens are supposed to be demons. And then the government is involved because they also want this to happen, because then it to me, this is because it allows them to...
Because they work for the cabal who wants a one-world government.
Right.
They're put in place.
Okay. There you go.
I don't know.
Simple.
And we have our government, this administration for sure, working with all of the AI giants. Peter Thiel, Sam Altman, they're all in there, right? Peter Thiel funded JD Vance, got him in there. You have all of these guys, Elon Musk even. They're all, I heard that the White House ballroom was funded by these tech guys.
I think so. Well, and then also Trump is like tweeting out weird things as well. Is there anything
in
else?
Sumerian, tying it back to the alien
yeah,
demons.
right. Was that the craziest thing? Are there other things that he posted that we should show before we sign off
So he did that, and then he also posted.
Oh, the My Way, right?
What's the greatest show to end the show?
Yeah.
The end is at times.
I hope not.
We might get copyright.
Yeah, we have to cut that. Yeah, we have to cut that.
You were really enjoying that, but
I was.
caught that.
Yeah.
No, I just, yeah. I hope not. Also.
Yeah, I hope
when
this
you
is not
go
the
back
end time.
when-
This is the and times. A-N-D. Okay. The and times.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. Full circle. I loved that. That was so good. Best joke ever. The and times. I love it.
times.
That's what we.
That's the
should
joke that
name
people
this.
tell right before you die, I guess. The and times.
James said it, not
I
me.
know.
No, but I just also think this is interesting when you look back, kind of like Tucker
A
said.
couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven, but
A couple weeks
It's
ago,
kind
you
of
were
weird
doing
you
an
would
interview.
say that, right? Because if you're someone who's making the board of peace and doing all of these things that he was saying at the time, I'm going to end wars and right, like you would think you'd be like front of the line.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's done some Epstein stuff, right? I'm sure he's aware of some of the knowledge that has allegedly been documented about him and various proclivities, getting his dick sucked by Laura Loomer. You think he's going to heaven after that?
No, I don't. I definitely do not.
What an experience that must have been, huh?
I mean, look, I just can't even comment.
Well, so hope everybody enjoyed the show. We got into a lot of ish, a lot of ISH.
I think the show is ish today. But yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack here, is the point. This is the tip of the iceberg.
This is the tip.
That's what Laura Loomer said.
And that's all there was.
Oh, man. Well, anyways, guys, what a roller coaster. Next week.
We got on Sam Tripoli next week.
Yes.
So he'll be fun to he's like what the biggest 10-head comedian out there, right? He's like the top dog, you think?
Yeah, I do.
Anyways, really cool to sit down with Tim Dillon. So we'll get that episode out.
Tim Dillon.
Sorry, not Tim. Sam, I apologize, Sam. I can't believe because I was thinking about Tim Dillon with the clip that we just played. My apologies to Sam.
I'm
Never
sure he
wanna
wouldn't
confuse
mind
being compared.
No.
I know. I think they're good buds.
Yeah,
They
and
do-
Tim Dillon is.
Tim
By the way,
Dillon's
how do you
also a
think
legend.
Busboys did? I was
I
trying
never
to
seen
look
the
at.
movie.
I know, but I was like hoping they did I could get box office report or something. I was trying to look over the weekend.
I thought it was just one theater premiere, and then they're gonna roll it out or something.
it was rolled out in
was it?
thousands of theaters.
Oh, I
yeah,
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, no, they were playing at a few local theaters of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, are they playing it at AMC and shit like that? Or
I don't know
no?
about AMC, but Regency.
Because I've boycotted myself from those places because
From where?
AMC and stuff like that. Ever since they started charging me extra for jalapenos, I'm out of it. I can't. I'm already paying $60. You can't give me a jalapenos. Can side containers of jalapenos?
Why you don't bring your own food to the movies?
I guess I could start doing that, but I was trying to help them, and I'm like, okay, don't you want me to have a good experience here? You're nickel and diming me for shit.
I'm not eating that shit.
Well,
You should see. I've got a salad. I lay out a picnic table.
yeah.
I've got a blanket. I've got the Lysol wipe. If I go,
yeah.
I really don't like to. And if I go, it's like a Sinopolis. There's going to be a recliner. And let's hope I don't hear a cough. The whole movie will be ruined. I won't be able to concentrate. You know, that always happens. You're like, you've liked all that, you're zoned in, and then all of a sudden someone like, not right behind you, although that has happened before, but like maybe 3 or 4 seats away, all of a sudden they're like, and you're like, oh my God, like.
Well, but I think people go to the movies when they're sick because it's like a sick thing. Like, you're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm just going to go watch a movie. Like,
well, I'm not going to the movies with you now.
I'm not
you
saying.
basically just self-proclaim. That's what I do when I'm sick.
Not. I don't even go to movies anymore.
Get the jalapenos to clear the.
Yeah, to clear the sinuses.
Yeah, clear the sinuses.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all coming together.
Anyways, thank you for everybody tuning in to the show.
Sam Tripoli's going to be great next week.
Sam Tripoli next week.
I would just like to say something, though.
Yeah.
I decided, against my better judgment, to wear a polka dot dress for a second interview.
Yeah. It looks, I'll show you the footage in a second.
What?
No, I'm saying then you can judge.
I already know. I already saw.
You already saw it?
I just want to say, polka dots, film large. I will never be wearing polka dots again. I did it with Jillian Michaels, and I said I didn't look good in polka dots, but then I saw this dress. I'm like, oh, it's so flattering. You guys, I'm looking like a polka dot. So, great interview, but you're not going to see me in polka dots again. It's sad. I think they're so cute.
Yeah, I think it looked fine. I thought it looked fine. It looked fine.
I think I'm too short to wear polka dots.
It looked fine to me. Anyways, thank you so much, Patreon subscribers, members. Appreciate you all.
I really appreciate you, and let us know what you think about all of this down below where we went today. See you guys in 2 weeks. We got our interview next week, and then we'll be live again right after that. Bye.